Hey, welcome back to the Passive Buddies podcast. And in today's episode, I think me and Brandon are probably going to geek out a little bit because we've been having these conversations offline. We're proper like giddy and excited, even to the point my missus is telling me to shut up because I'm talking too much about it. But we are going to be talking about marketing with AI, unleashing the power of technology and how people are going, oh, it's dangerous, but oh my God, if you leverage it right, it is insane, isn't it, Brandon? The Yoda of
Yeah,
ChatGPT.
I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan of ChatGPT. It allows us to get a lot more work done, and it's kind of like your own personal assistant for you to do anything you need it to do. You just need to train it correctly.
And I think that's the biggest thing. And I was talking about it. I done a YouTube video on it a while back. Was like how if you just use the bog standard stuff from ChatGPT, you're not really going to leverage it correctly. But if you feed it and train it, like you've said, it does go insane. It's like now, what's your thoughts and feelings on like the because obviously we've been in the game a while now. Like the differences between marketing, I'd probably go far back as saying 6, 12 months ago compared to the marketing abilities now. Like, what are the biggest differences you're seeing?
Oh man. Well, I know that there is just we're able to put a lot more content out there. So now if you're trying to be a marketer, say a solo entrepreneur, and you're not using ChatGPT, you are now not just competing with the big boys who have the money to spend, but you also have people who can use AI to do a lot more. And so if you're someone who is not using ChatGPT versus someone who is using ChatGPT,
Mhm.
you're not going to be as competitive, especially if you're not doing the marketing online the whole uh, pretty much to your best of like all hours of the day. You're not going to be able to compete at all because now you have someone who has a personal assistant that can get them everything they need in that very moment to be able to put out content, to be able to write an email, to convert all these different things uh, that we've never had access to before. And then you have people, the big boys with that have money and the ability to take ChatGPT and create their own custom software using APIs and inputs. You have those guys. So if you're not using ChatGPT, you're going to fall even more behind. That's why it's so important to subscribe to this podcast so you get up to date with all of our time sensitive material and the stuff we're doing to better our business. What do you think? How is it going to change the landscape for the next generation or just in general this generation?
I think it's crazy, isn't it? Like from a point of view, like everyone sort of thinks of like when you come to marketing, like you always go sort of generally right. If you want to speed life up, it's Chrome extensions, it's software pieces, it's been those things. AI started to infiltrate the marketing space, which has been really, really good. And so it's not just people of using AI for stuff in general. It's like we can now apply it heavily to marketing. And I think allowing that has been it's a time saver, it's a cost saver, and as well as like so if you feed it and train it the right way, as you said, like it really does like it changes the whole game. Like copywriters are if they don't leverage ChatGPT to get more output, copywriters are dead. Like it's horrible. Like as you say, virtual assistants, admin, and all these different things can be replaced with AI, which means you've got to get better as a person, as a marketer, as a personal brand, as a freelancer. You've got to be able to give more or output more for what you charge. And I think like everyone's just sort of seeing AI as like people going away and building robots from like the film like I, Robot, for instance. Like, do you remember seeing that with Will Smith? Where he
Yeah,
basically,
definitely.
yeah.
Yep.
So like everyone just thought AI, like physical robots are where you go. But as it's transferring into marketing, it's just, I know we use the word a lot, like it is a massive, massive game changer. Um, it's helping people, especially with the more people that feed it, it's helping us understand our customers better. It's helping us up our game in terms of quality of content. And I think it's making us all become better marketers because the whole system's being fed by so many thousands of people. That's why it's that's why it's been crashing a bit. Like it's it's only going to improve the content, improve the understanding and stuff like that. What do you think some of the benefits are moving forward with this? We've spoke about time being a massive saver, like what we've put out this morning. Definitely from my morning in terms of the output ready for this podcast, it's been just crazy. So we get to market on more platforms and we get to leverage the exact same time and really push hard and get more eyeballs to the podcast. What do you think some of the benefits are of marketing with AI and leveraging this system?
Yeah, I mean, it allows you just to brainstorm easier. It allows you to just do everything easier. You kind of said it, and Rory said it off air a couple of days ago, but it pretty much made it so, well, you pretty much said it's so you don't have to think. And that's kind of a good thing in a way, because we get tied up with our own thoughts and processes when we can just enter it and get a response and be like, well, that's a pretty good answer. I'm going to go with that. And then it just kind of takes out that doubt. It allows us to just kind of keep pushing forward and keep throwing things at the wall, but essentially just allow us to keep pushing forward, almost like that carrot on a stick, because we're not stuck in this, like, do I send this email or do I not do this? Or how do I write to this audience? We've now been able to just train the AI to give us the content that we need to push our business forward, because we've given it enough information about our business or about ourselves, about whatever. So for instance, I'll give you two examples. One, before we were on air, I was talking to Brian and he was like, well, I asked ChatGPT, how can we get more exposure on our podcasts? And I was like, go ask ChatGPT, and it listed all these things. And then he's like, well, I should probably get this YouTube our video or audio transcribed. I was like, yeah. And then you can feed it to ChatGPT and tell it, like, this was the, write me a summary for this, create a blog post on this, and create a post for Facebook about watching this summary on YouTube or whatever. And it will crank out all three of those pieces of content without needing any other addition, without needing any extra tools, without needing any extra things. And you have three pieces of content instantly created from ChatGPT. Not only that, I've been, for myself, been feeding it information about, like, just my life and what I do throughout the day and what I eat. And so it's now like the perfect dietitian. And I said, based on the things that I've been eating over the weeks, can you give me give me a grocery list to improve what I've been eating on? And it said, like, you have a high diet of saturated fats and sugars. my wife has been bringing, we had like pizza one day, and so that lasted like 2 days. And then Valentine's Day was the other day. So we got these little, like, cookie dough, delicious little truffles. And so I put in that. So it was like, you've been eating a lot of sugar lately. I suggest you eat vegetables, and this is like the vegetables best for blah, 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 blah. And then it gave me a grocery list. And so based on the information that I fed it, and knew that I was eating poorly, it was high in, fat and sugar and blah, blah, blah. And then I should start including more vegetables and fruits into my diet. And it gave me a recommendation list for that. And it knows that it knows that I'm working out, because I fed it, how often I'm working out, but it still says I need more vegetables and stuff. So that's kind of the power of ChatGPT. And we train this all in our community. We have a whole community where we talk about boring passive income and how you can utilize AI to get more done. So if you want to learn more, definitely check out the links down below. It'll direct you into our group. What else do you have to add about the power of this technology, Brian?
I think it's as you say, like we've given it some real world examples, and it was quite funny, wasn't it? I was on ChatGPT last night, and I was like, I was pumping out some content for the podcast, and reevaluating our system so if you make it even better. And then, as I said, I asked you a question. I was like, how can we get more written content out to push the thing? And your literally simple answer was just ask ChatGPT. I was like, oh yeah, why didn't I even think about that? And it's retraining that. And I know when you said and I said it, and obviously I know you're paraphrasing, like we don't, because of ChatGPT, we don't have to think. Now, I know some people go, oh yeah, but if you don't have to think, then you just become like a zombie. It was like, it's not the case. What it is it's taken away thinking time, energy on aspects that we don't have to, allowing us the freedom to think about bigger problems and then solve bigger problems. Now, for instance, I seen an example of I sent you the TikTok, didn't I? Of Alex Hormozy gave his
Yeah.
team the challenge of replacing themselves with AI. Now, they must have panicked at first when he heard that. Obviously, the robots are taking over. We're going to lose all our jobs. But I don't think it was that. I think it was, right, let's use AI to replace as much of your task list as possible. And then we'll be able to do more because we can create more tasks and build a bigger business. And I think that's the way you've got to look at like AI in general, because we focused heavily on ChatGPT, but we were chatting it the other day, weren't we, about like it can take our audio, different softwares can take our audios, then we could provide it with a script. And in 5 years' time, we might not even have to record the podcast. We can just use ChatGPT to provide the podcast script, put it into this other software that will do the audio exactly how we speak, and have that back and forward conversation. And podcasts will be AI generated based on the script that the script that AI generated. And like we could literally step out as long as we're looking at the script and putting our personality more and more into it, which is getting fed into ChatGPT because we're downloading the transcripts and uploading what we've said. And that cycle of like, it'll know exactly everything on how to create a podcast for us without having to do it. I think the next sort of steps for those AIs is to be able to talk to each other in terms of linking and integration. I'm a big integrator, and I love Zapier. I love making that whole thing talk to each other to get that automation side. And I think getting those linked in together. So, like for instance, ChatGPT could cyclically create the podcast titles, create the outlines, create the scripts, create all the posts that go with it, upload it into Trello for our graphic team to manage, and maybe go to an AI generator to create the graphics for us based on our templates. It just goes on and on and on. So once they all start talking to each other, you can leverage it in crazy ways, like absolutely insane ways, to the point of like you can automate, and it will come, and we can automate a hell of a lot of our business. Right now, we've got certain aspects where we need to put a virtual assistant in little places to create or to improve the audio or any of these things, but it's going to get to a point where you can basically press run and the thing will run continuously for you, creating those podcast episodes, those graphics, those infographics, those blogs, and posting them on the right places. It's going to go insane. And I think for the marketers who aren't using AI now to leverage their time, like as we said, we've probably mapped out 25 to 30 episodes in less than half an hour with an outline, with a description, ready to go. So we can literally crank through our podcasts now. And it's getting to the same as like I've set a challenge for our team that we're going to be outputting 5 blog posts a day, Monday to Friday from next Monday. And I know that is more than capable of creating that. So we've got a bank of blogs, etc., driving around all of the topics that we talk about on the podcast. And obviously, those who dominate the conversation win. So by leveraging AI, you can dominate the conversation a hell of a lot more than people who aren't. And then therefore, you can dominate the conversation, get more eyeballs to your stuff, and then go ahead and monetize that.
So I want to, I hate to break it to you, Brian, but that's already possible. There is already podcasts of Joe Rogan and other people, guests that are not real podcasts. They are AI generated.
I've seen them. Yeah, and that's what gave me the thing. It's getting it all connected to do it all without you having to stand there and connect the bits. But as you said, like it is possible. I just didn't want people to think that we're not going to do any podcasts anymore.
There's this guy, Asmongold. He's a World of Warcraft player, very famous in the streaming space on Twitch and on Facebook. And he has his Osmongold AI, and people he has this whole setup. It looks like him. It talks like him. His hair looks the same. It's an avatar of him, not just his voice. And he'll do interviews with people, and people will ask him questions, and he'll answer the questions as if it was him. And it's an avatar of him essentially. And people do podcasts with it, and they upload it on his stream, and it's pretty amazing to say the least. Like you see a lot of this technology. This is just the start of it, and it's at a certain point, we're all, if we want to get really crazy, we're all not going to work. We're all just going to be entertainers, and AI is going to be doing all the hefty lifting. And either it's going to be the stuff that we can't do, like AI can't do, but it can with obviously robots and stuff down the road. But at a certain point, it's just going to be all of us hanging out, talking to each other. I think that's where it's going to go to, because AI can do everything, can essentially send messages to people, can do video, can do audio, can create a world essentially. And we're just gonna not waste our brain power doing all that, because everything's taken care of. And all of our brain power is gonna go into enjoying each other's company, which I think is gonna be amazing. But yeah, I think that the power of AI is gonna be amazing. And with all the things we can already do with it, with generating podcasts, and then having that, like, where it's just a script, what I would say that says, take the summary, because I think there's a AI bot that attaches to Zoom that will make all your show notes for you and copy all your show notes. And then you can have a trigger that once it's done with the show notes, create infographics for it using, like, I think it's called, there's like a Zoom alternative. I think it's called Back, maybe. I don't think that's right. But there's something out there that can do all of this. And I'm guessing it's just connecting the pieces. And I'll give you some tools after. Just, if you brought that up, I'll try and find it. But there's some powerful stuff out there. And I think that if you guys aren't taking advantage of it now, you're going to be left behind, because right now is like the gold mine of it. And you're going to be able to make a lot of money with doing your services with ChatGPT, because everything will be grammatically correct and spelling correct, and be able to be focused on a particular niche that you have no idea about, that you can learn about really, really quickly, and that you're able to put out content even faster. And before it becomes everything's automated, now is a great time to leverage that and make a great deal of money.
And you're absolutely right. Obviously, we're talking about it and it's a hot topic, but thousands and millions of people still aren't leveraging this in their business, which means if you are, and we talk about this on like the YouTube side, if you're leveraging like YouTube and using YouTube, you're already ahead of the people who are hunting on Facebook. And it's the exact same here. If you're leveraging AI, you're already ahead of the people who aren't, which means you have more time in a day. You have more time to do the things that will make you more money as you get the admin, the AI, and the virtual assistant tasks done by AI. It's an absolute incredible time to be alive. It's super, super exciting. And we teach all of this in the Cashflow Challenge. The Cashflow Challenge will be the first link in the descriptions. And come and join us, because we leverage AI. We teach marketing. We teach you how to build passive income, recurring passive income, and the marketing strategies behind it. So go ahead and click that top link. And I think that has been an excellent podcast. It's been super exciting, as you said, because we like to geek out. Final thoughts, Brandon, or can we take this one away?
I think this is a good one. I think we will close it off there.
Awesome, guys. Thank you so much for listening, and we will see you on the next episode.
Peace.